Very good afternoon, everyone. Let's make a start. Welcome to BizTalk 103 for those of you who've just joined us. My name is Wally Rauga, and I will be your host and presenter for this BizTalk. Today, we're talking about a really interesting subject. We're talking about managing remote teams. Remote teams is a word that came out and flourished during COVID-19. Remote work was around, but it was not as popular as it has become from the day COVID-19 next lockdown. I'm sure in all your countries you experienced COVID-19. Some of you were locked down. Some of you still are able to work from home. But for most people who work for companies or businesses, thank you, Robert. So remote teams are very much a part of everyday business. But what you're going to learn today is that remote teams during the 2 years of COVID-19 has cost companies hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in losses because they entrusted their employees and later found out that those employees couldn't be trusted. Employees were getting paid to sit at home and do nothing. Productivity went down. Closing deals went down. People became unexpectedly lazy. So let's ask ourselves, is working from home, is remote working something that a company should consider without having the right tools in place? Is it something that any company should be allowing now that things are back to normal? What percentage of employees should you entrust working from home to? All of these questions and more I'm going to answer for you today. Has anybody here worked from home? Has anybody done remote work before? Could you put your hands up? No one has done remote work. None of you have worked remotely? Has anybody worked remotely? Wave your hand for me, please. Great. Cheryl, you've worked remotely, Cheryl? Hi, Cheryl, where are you from? Hi, Cheryl, where are you from? Hello, are you there, Cheryl? You need to unmute your microphone. Hi, where are you from? What country are you from?
Saudi,
all right, great.
but Philippines.
Have you worked remotely before, or you communicate with your family remotely?
I just pressed sorry, sir. I just pressed the.
That's okay. You're welcome. No problem. I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much. Excellent. Okay, who else works remotely? Alpha May, do you work remotely? Hi, are you there, Alpha May? Okay, all right. So let's go on and let's talk about what is remote work, what is remote work constituted of, and why is remote work such a liability to any business if it is not correctly managed. As you know, many companies around the world have removed the option to work remotely, and companies now are following suit every day. Let's talk about remote work. One moment, please. Okay, so today, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about managing remote work teams. And that means managing teams who work from remote locations, but are still part of the same company or still part of the same group that you're in. But instead of seeing each other face to face in an office environment or factory environment every day, you see them in cyberspace, in a cyberspace address where they work remotely. So remote work teams, also known as distributed teams or virtual teams, are basically, in simple terms, a group of people or individuals who work together from different geographic locations, often using computers, laptops, digital communication and technology to collaborate and achieve their common goals. As you know, during COVID-19, people were locked down in China, Australia, and Singapore and India, and globally, they couldn't leave their house to go to the office. So the only way they could continue to earn their income or their livelihood was to work remotely. But unfortunately, companies around the world were not prepared for a total shutdown. They were never prepared to have their total 100% workforce work remotely. it came as a shock to industry. Industry was not prepared for it. They did not have the right equipment. They did not have the right software to monitor their staff, and they had no idea how to train people how to work remotely or to communicate effectively when working remotely. And that brought to the downturn of many companies and their profitability, I'm afraid to say. Remote work in simple principles can be fully remote, where all team members work from home remotely full-time. It can be hybrid. Some team members work from office while others work remotely. And third and most common these days for those companies who still have remote work is flexible. Team members split their time between working from the office and remotely, and usually the number of days is decided by the company's management. But unfortunately today, more than ever before, a lot of companies have gone from being full remote work teams to having what they call flexible remote work, where they split the workers' days in the office and the number of days they work from home. For example, it could be that Cheryl goes to the office Monday, Wednesday, Friday. She works from home Tuesday and Thursday. So companies now are a lot more particular in governing or controlling remote work. Remote work teams can be formed across various industries and departments and functions in any company. It can be so far as IT software development. It can be your customer support team who answer calls from customers all around the world through a computer line, marketing, or through an IP phone number or an IP address. It could be marketing, doing the online digital marketing for your company. It could be your sales team, your human resources team, your finance team, or even your R&D department, provided they can do the work online and don't need to be in a physical environment where they have to actually test the machine, etc., etc., etc. So remote work can happen in any industry. It can even happen in real estate by showing your client a virtual tour at first, and only if the client's really interested, you take them for a brick and concrete tour, or brick and mortar tour, as we call it, where you visit the property in real terms. So, is remote work workable in any industry? Which could be. However, can remote work be used in any industry without adequate preparation? It should not be. It should not be. So, what are the benefits of allowing employees to work remotely? For employees, there are benefits. There were also benefits for employers, but unfortunately today, the disadvantages outweigh the benefits. As you'll see towards the end of this lesson, some of the biggest companies in the world have now found that all the benefits of remote work are outweighed by the negatives or the dangers of financial loss, which we'll go through today. We'll also go through how you can overcome those if you're adamant about having remote work. So better work-life balance. A study by PricewaterhouseCoopers, one of the world's most renowned external consultancy and audit firms, found that 67% of employees say they can better balance their personal and professional lives when working from home. The absence of a commute increases time for rest, and the flexible schedule enhances life quality. This is what employees say, but employers have a different opinion of this, because employers say that when people find it much more comfortable to work from home, they become complacent, always late for work. Sometimes they do not do what they're supposed to because they lack motivation and feel like they're at home and in relaxation mode. So, notwithstanding that better work-life balance, and the common definition is here, this is becoming the least most popular reason or benefit of working remotely. Increased productivity. According to a study in the Harvard Business Review, remote employees complete almost a whole day's extra work per week compared to their in-office colleagues. This can be thanks to fewer distractions or the chance to work during their most productive hours of the day or night. So, is this still true? Well, for the 5 big companies that I'm going to show you, it wasn't, because productivity went down and they lost money. So in some small businesses, this may be correct, but increased productivity in real terms can be a benefit, providing your employees can be trusted. Improved employee retention. Well, you all know about what employee retention is. Retention is keeping an employee working for our organization. Because every time an employee leaves our organization, it costs us money in real terms to either find a replacement or to actually pay for a replacement to be found through an employment agent or a headhunter or company that hunts for people to work in this particular industry. So employee retention is a very big critical focus for any company. If you cannot retain employees, it means the number of employees that you turn over will be very high. It means that morale within your company will be lower. Employee retention is a very basic focus that any company must pay attention to before they even contemplate work teams or remote work teams, work from home teams. The benefits of this have been proven. 41% in office personnel experiencing burnout, compared with only 26% of remote workers. Well, 41% of in-office staff experiencing burnout, you have to look at why. Why are they experiencing burnout? Is it because they mentally say to themselves, I want to work from home, it's easier, because they can't be bothered getting up, getting dressed and going to work every day? Or is it true that when they work from home, they experience more comfort levels and only the people who go to the office feel stressed and experience burnout? Now, there is no definite statistics to confirm whether all of the ones that experience burnout are because they don't get a chance to work from home, they don't get a chance to do remote work, or is it because psychologically they want remote work and their company can't allow them? So it is basically really, really important. 41% of in-office personnel experiencing burnout. Why? Is it because they've got their mind focused that I should be able to work out from home and they can't? That's why they feel mentally tired and they're telling themselves that they don't want to come to the office and they pretend to be burnt out? All of these are questions we must ask ourselves. Reduced commuting stress. Well, if you're allowed to work remotely, it reduces your commute time. According to data reviewed by Upwork, on average, those who work remotely save an average of 49.6 minutes a day. Now, if everybody who saved 50 minutes a day actually spent that 50 minutes working, the world would be a better place. But most people spend that 50 minutes taking an extra nap in bed, sitting in the kitchen eating breakfast, or on the phone talking to someone, rather than doing the class or whatever commitment they have, or doing the work they're supposed to do, or doing what the boss entrusted them to do whilst they're working from home, or whilst they're working from a remote location. So one of the fundamental questions is, if you want to trust people to work remotely, first question you have to ask yourself, do you trust them working in the office? Do you trust that they will abide by your processes and procedures? If the answer of those two questions is no, then you should not be allowing remote work. Customized work environment. Well, what is a customized work environment? We do find sometimes with big companies, they allow certain people to work from home, but they are customized work environments. where they are all IT engineers that don't need to communicate with anyone. They need to work independently to write IT programs or develop new programs for customers. These are customized environment jobs. And this meets the desire for a personalized and comfortable work setting, enhancing overall work satisfaction or job satisfaction, provided that this customized work environment fits into your working pattern. And that you don't have to work on a factory floor, because if you work in a factory, they couldn't give you a customized work environment on the proviso that they only have so many hours a day to produce whatever the key performance indicator or the target is for that day. So different companies will have different ideas about customized work environments. Let's go to remote work teams and what they use in order to have a successful remote working environment. Well, they communicate with video conferencing like Zoom, like the Zoom that I'm using to communicate with you. They use instant messaging and email. They collaborate through project management software, document sharing, and collaborative editing. They share knowledge through virtual training sessions, webinars, and online resources. And fourth, and most importantly, they track progress, performance monitoring, tools, goal setting software, etc. So it's really, really important that if you're going to allow work teams from home, you should have the right software to be able to manage them, observe them, and monitor them on a regular basis. You might say, well, there's no struggle of working remotely, but there is. Employees reported recently across Great Britain and the United Kingdom, 20% of them find collaboration and communication very difficult if they're working from home or remote working. They felt loneliness, not being able to unplug or talk to their friends at work about a different subject. They found 12% more distractions at home. They found 10% being in a different time zone than their teammates made their job more difficult to communicate with their teammates. They found it hard staying motivated. They found it hard taking vacation times because they're working from home. And they find it hard when their Wi-Fi breaks down and they cannot be online and they get questioned or reprimanded by their employer. These are reasons why people struggle as a result of working from home or working remotely. All right, so before I do this, before I go on, let me ask any of you, have any of you worked from home once again? Are any of you working from home at the moment? Anyone? Can you put your hand up for me if you're working from home? Come on, somebody's working from home. No? Did anybody work from home during COVID? Put your hand up. Anybody work from home during COVID-19? No one. Okay, one person. Thank you. 2 people. Excellent. Wilburn, tell me, what was your experience working from home? Can you unmute your microphone? Are you there, Wilburn? Unmute your microphone. Hi, Wilburn.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah, I can. Where are you from? Which country are you from?
Sir, last time we met, I was in Philippines for my vacation, but now I went back here in Saudi Arabia.
Fantastic, wonderful. Wilburn, nice to see you again. I remember you said you were somewhere outside the Philippines. I do know that you're a Filipino, but it's good to know that you're back in Saudi Arabia and back at work. Tell me, Wilburn, did you ever work remotely online?
That was during COVID, sir.
And were you based in Saudi Arabia then, or were you back in the Philippines?
Yeah, I was here in Saudi Arabia during the COVID.
And your company allowed you to work remotely, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you find that you became lonely and found it hard to communicate with your colleagues?
Yeah, especially during the COVID times, all of us are very uncomfortable that time, so it's very hard for us also. And we
Okay,
feel lonely that time due to
okay. Can I
COVID.
ask you? Can I ask you? Did you find that your level of productivity increased or decreased during COVID?
For me, it was decreased.
Right, and that's because you couldn't contact clients, you couldn't see clients, and you couldn't communicate effectively. Is that right?
Exactly, sir.
Thank you very much, Wilburn. It's nice to hear from you. Does anybody else
Welcome,
want
sir.
to tell me? You're welcome. Can anybody else confirm the same as what Wilburn said? Working remotely can be advantageous, but it can only be advantageous for the right type of people and the right type of job. If you've got to communicate with customers, then you need to communicate and liaise with different departments. Working remotely can make your job more difficult. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so what are the benefits of remote work for the employer, not for the employee? Now let's look at it from the employer's perspective. If the employer allows employees to work remotely, that employer has access to a very large global talent pool where they can employ somebody in Japan to do work for a company in America without having to pay them to fly all the way to America and find them accommodation. So, remote work teams for employers can benefit them, especially if they're looking for someone with a certain skill, with a certain talent, and they can actually get that person to work remotely rather than changing their location and moving to another country. Okay, so this happens quite commonly where companies are after or headhunt for a certain person from a different country to come into their business. But this person prefers to work in their own country. So instead of moving to another country or relocate, they use what we call remote work for this member of the team, who may be somebody that they really need and has talent that no one else in the company's home country can show. It is not common, but it is something that companies do practice. All right, let's go on. Greater diversity of candidates. Of course, if you're able to recruit candidates in different parts of the world and they can all work from their own location, you create a more diverse group of employees, okay? And that means that the need for diverse perspectives and skills in the workforce. So you bring different ideas and different talent to your team. But I'll give you an example. There's an insurance company known as Allstate Insurance. Allstate is a general and life insurer. And when they switched to remote working, they saw 30% increase in diverse candidates applying for the role. So before that, they only had, straight university graduates who were first-year graduates who wanted to get money, so they were prepared to learn to become Allstate insurance brokers to sell insurance whilst they looked for a full-time job. But when they took the Allstate business online, they got a more diverse level of candidates and quality of candidates. The quality of candidate that was applying now was somebody who was an experienced sales professional who preferred to work online or from their own town, country, or village. And these people proved to be more productive than the ones that were not from a diverse workforce. Because by allowing a diverse workforce, you're bringing people with more talent, more experience, more contacts into your corporate environment, which in the majority of instances will increase productivity based on the new ideas and contacts they will bring with them. Does everybody understand that? Yeah, can you wave your hands? Good, excellent. Okay, let's go on. Cost savings. Of course, business owners can save money by allowing remote work teams because they can reduce office space, They no longer need to rent such large office space. They reduce the cost of having, a full office with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of electricity bills, etc., every month by allowing people to work from their own home. But if they do that, they still have to provide these employees with the right tools. For example, if the employee doesn't have a computer, they need to provide him a desktop computer or a laptop. So even though cost savings are there, companies really have to do their homework first to see whether there's a real cost saving. By the time they say to everybody, you need to work from home, and we will provide you a computer, a printer, and a desk and a chair to work from. It's just, you can't expect everybody that works for you to have a room in their house to work from home. I can tell you some of the biggest companies in the world, when COVID-19 broke out, they actually had to put up money for all their employees to go and buy a desk, a chair, and a desk lamp in order for them to work from home. They also had to make provisions to give these employees laptops or desktops to work with from home. For those who didn't have a phone at home, they had to actually provide a company mobile so customers can call them if need be. Otherwise, they had to communicate through IP, okay? IP, which is Internet over Voice Protocol, okay, or VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol, okay? So they used an IP address to use VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol, where they can communicate over the internet without having a real phone number or a mobile number. But to set up Voice over Internet Protocol meant that their company had to invest in having the right software and the right systems in place. Sun Microsystems identified savings of $68 million yearly in real estate costs, while Dow Chemicals and Nortel saved 30% of non-real estate costs. Now, when we talk about Sun Microsystems, they're one of the largest microcomputer software systems in the world, and they had buildings in nearly every country of the world. So by getting people to work through remote work, they were able to reduce the rental costs by not needing to occupy so many office floors and office space in different countries. All right, the other big benefit to the employer would be the reduced level of absenteeism, the reduced number of staff who go absent. And that is a big factor, reduced absenteeism, because people are already at home. But there was a negative effect of this because people were at home, and if they were sick, they wouldn't take medical leave. They would just sit back and do nothing and still get paid by their employer and not be productive, because they thought they were at home, and if they're sick, why should I report that I'm sick? I just do less. I'm working from home. It was dishonesty by employees. Because if employees are sick and they can't be productive, they should call in sick and not make their employer pay them for sitting around doing nothing, as a lot of employees did during remote work, because they weren't properly monitored and they weren't properly supervised. Okay, some companies would say that by allowing their staff to work from remote work locations or work from home, they're basically helping improve the employee's well-being. That means they are providing the employee an environment where he was less stressed and better prepared for work. According to Team Insights, work well-being leads to 2 less sick days a year, a 6 times lower probability of being absent, and a 9 times higher loyalty rate. Well, enhanced employee well-being truly does help, but it has its negative comebacks when you talk about employee well-being while working from home, because some people use the trust given to them in the wrong way. For those people who are honest and do the work whilst at home and actually report sick when they're sick, it's okay, but the problem is the majority don't. Okay, the other benefit is an eco-friendly office model or eco-friendly business model. And they say that remote work or remote work environments contribute to a greener business model by reducing emissions, fuel, energy consumption, and even office waste. Well, yeah, less fuel emissions, less energy consumption because not as much office space and not as much electricity will be used. True. But how will that affect productivity long term? But eco-friendly business models are a benefit of remote work teams. So does everybody understand that now? Yes or no? Everybody understands what I mean by eco-friendly business model? You know, an eco-friendly business model, by not having electricity on, allowing your staff not to have to travel back and forth to work and cause fuel emissions used by buses, trains, and public transport and cars, may reduce, make your country a more eco-friendly country, make your company more eco-friendly as far as its reputation, but will they still be able to maintain productivity? Okay, so now that we've looked at the benefits of remote work teams for both the employee and the employer, can I ask you, do you think that all these benefits for the employer are fair? Or can you tell me, do you think that the benefits for you as an employee are fair? Who can tell me? Put your hand up. If you think that employers should allow you to work from home and allowing the employers to give you a chance to work from home, knowing that not everyone is going to do their job the way it should be and be productive, do you still think that work from home is a good idea for a business? If you do, put your hand up. If you think that working from home is a good idea, even though you can't trust anybody in the organization and don't have the right tools in place, put your hand up. Okay, Janet, what do you think? Janet, tell me. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I can't hear you. Do you think remote work is a good idea or not a good idea? Right. And do you think that companies should trust everyone to work from home? Just bear with me for a moment, please. Think that everybody should be trusted to work from home? Go ahead, Janet. Can you open your microphone? I can't hear you. Can you open your microphone? Okay. Do you think that everybody should be trusted to work from home, Janet?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let me tell you, Janet, I used to think that way too. But when I look at the money that companies lost because people who worked from home weren't honest and misused the trust, then I feel that maybe work from home is not such a good idea for everyone. But I agree with you. Providing you trust the people and providing you have tools to manage them correctly, it is a good idea. Thank you, Janet. Can everybody hear me, guys? Can everybody hear me? Okay, good. All right, let's go to Michelle. Michelle, what do you think of work from home? Can you unmute your microphone, Michelle? Yeah. Do you think that work from home should be something for everyone or not?
For me, sir, no, and it is not also comfortable because network is not the same, and it is not also same speed of the network. So there will be tendency that the customer or
Right.
the person you are contacting
all right.
So
okay. So what you're saying is that remote work is not ideal for everyone. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I can't hear you, Michelle. Is that what you're saying? I can't hear you,
Yes,
Michelle.
sir.
Your mic. Okay, great. Michelle, did you work from home at one stage? Were you working remotely before?
Yes, before.
Okay,
Before.
and okay, can I ask you, did you feel lonely? Did you find it hard to communicate working remotely?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Very not comfortable because the person who already contacted will not be good the connection.
Thank you. Very
Connection
good. Thank you,
problem.
Michelle.
Yes.
Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate your input. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go to the next person here who's put their hand up. Yes, Mylene, go ahead, Mylene. Have you worked remotely? Are you there, Mylene?
Hello,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Have you worked remotely?
For me, sir, it will be for some, but not for others. A lot will depends upon how the work you'd like to do fits with the life you already live. For instance, if the work requires full focus, full-time hours, and quite, and you have a baby or live to somewhere with a lot of street noise, that's not good or fit. If the work is flexible enough to fit your life, or your life is flexible enough to fit your work, things will go much more smoothly. But for me, sir, my current job is in the hospital. For me,
Oh,
working from home is not good because
right.
I'm working in the
Well,
hospital.
that's right. Well, most medical professionals or hospital professionals, unfortunately, don't get to work from home. And,
Yeah.
my gratitude goes out to all medical workers and hospital workers who had to go to hospitals every day to treat people during COVID-19. Okay, so what we've discovered is that remote work is not suitable in every environment. It can be beneficial to some, but it can be a money-making loss for others. All right, so let's go back to our lesson. Okay, so we've talked about eco-friendly. We've talked about what remote work is. Let's talk about managing these remote work teams. Managing remote work teams requires a combination of effective communication, trust, technology. And I want to talk to you about 10 areas of focus that would help you manage a remote work team should you ever decide to have people work remotely. One, you must set clear goals and expectations for them. You must give them KPIs and a task list which they must carry out every day, and you must be able to monitor that they're doing the goals every day, KPIs every day. You must use calibration tools like Slack, Trello, Asana, or Zoom to facilitate online communication, like you are now in a Zoom room where we can all communicate. You must foster open communication between your team members. Encourage regular check-ins, feedback, and transparency to build trust and address issues promptly. So your team must always be online, and management must be online to address any issues that the team faces. You need to emphasize work-life balance, respect team members' personal time, and encourage them to only work online during their working hours. Companies need to provide training and resources about how people should work online. They need to teach them how to use VoIP, voice over internet protocol technology, how to use online chat and chat room environments, how to work in software like Zoom, etc. You need to train your employees of this and make sure they're competent before you allow them to go home and work from home or work virtually. You need to conduct regular virtual meetings to discuss progress, address questions, and make sure you motivate and foster your team bonding, because each team member is in a different address or in a different home location. So you need to keep the team bonded by getting them all to talk to each other and have big group meetings on a regular event. You need to celebrate milestones and achievements, recognize, celebrate team members' achievements and milestones to boost morale and motivation. So if you're a sales manager and your salesman closes a big sale, you still need to acknowledge that, even though he's working remotely. You need to establish a virtual water cooler. What we mean by that, create a virtual space for socialization and team bonding to combat isolation and loneliness. So if your company has a Zoom account and you have one Zoom room for finance, one for legal, one for sales, one for marketing, you should also have one that you call a virtual water cooler or water cooler room, or we used to call it the water cooler. And this room is where your staff can go for a 5 or 10-minute break during the day, save them getting lonely, working online alone. So usually the water cooler is where staff take their break. So Janet would make herself a coffee, go to the water cooler and talk to all her friends from the office while she's drinking her coffee. And when they finish their coffee break, they would simply go back to the channel where they're working. The water cooler idea was adapted and is used by some of the big companies around the world until they found out that people were going to the water cooler every 5 minutes. When they're at real work, they go to lunch and they have 1 or 2 tea breaks during a day. But what they found out with the water cooler is people were cheating. They were spending hours in the water cooler and not doing any work. Okay? Set clear boundaries and expectations, establish clear working hours, give them minimum and maximum response times, and make sure they have working communication channels, whether it's working internet, high-speed internet, mobile phones, or voice over internet protocol. Always lead by example. If you're the manager or the general manager and you want your team to work online, it means that you have to work online and you have to be in that Zoom online channel whilst your workers are there as well. So here are some tips for remote work. These are really, really good tips. And you know what? When I used to work for a big shipping company and I was in HR, these are some of the tips that I had to teach everyone before the company decided that on Monday they would be working from home. And that happened for 2 months. Only 2 months, they came back to the office, and then COVID got worse in the country I was in. So then they went back on virtual, working from home for another 4 or 5 months. But thank God we had trained them and we had the technology, we had enough computers and laptops for everyone to work from in their own home. And we paid them an allowance to improve their internet connection. So you need to build trust early and often with the people that you want to work from home. You need to create ways for team to connect outside of the meetings, whether where you put them in a water cooler or you arrange, some sort of gathering, online gathering for everyone to have fun and talk. Plan the right amount of time for them to carry out tasks and get the jobs done, and monitor the tasks just like you would in the office. Make time to hear issues and oppositions from employees if they prefer not to work from home. Make sure you have a level playing field. Set it up so that if some people are remote, everyone is as well. If some people are remote, you don't have to have everyone to be remote. But make sure that if some people are remote and they're getting special privileges because they're remote, make sure those privileges are also common for other people, so people don't say, I want to be a remote worker as well. You need to level the playing field. Okay, you need to design group meetings with care. Make sure that you get all the team members online remotely to join your team meetings and use that as a motivation session. Let go of the belief that virtual is never as good as face-to-face. If you ask your staff to work virtually, you have to be honest and say, we're going to work virtually, but do not demotivate them by saying, oh, virtual is going to mean loss of money or be unproductive, because the minute you demotivate them, they will not put in any effort. They'll just say, you told us. It's a waste of time. It's not motivating. Got no one to talk to. So you need to give a virtual work environment every chance it has by making sure your team are trained. You need to plan the right amount of time for them to do the tasks because they no longer have to travel to the office and back home every day. So that means they have more time to work at home. Never ask, does everyone agree? Not everyone will agree. Always call on people by name and ask them if they agree. Don't just say generally. Does everyone agree? Because of course everybody will agree. You're the boss. Do you understand that, everyone? Do you understand that, Janet? Okay. By allowing the 10 areas of focus, you can effectively manage remote teams, boost productivity, and create a positive environment. But remember, the only way that's going to happen is by you actually implementing this to the fullest, making sure everybody has the equipment they need to work remotely and everybody understand why they're working remotely. All right, let's go on. So by following these 10 areas, it is possible to have a successful remote work team environment. But remember, there's going to be a cost to it, and you're going to have to make sure that everybody is briefed, they have the equipment, they have internet facility to work remotely. Let's look at Amazon. Has everybody heard of Amazon? Who's heard of Amazon? Has everybody heard of Amazon? Can you put your hands up if you've heard of Amazon? Put your hand up. Okay, does anybody know what became of Amazon thanks to virtual work or managing remote work? Can anyone tell me what happened to Amazon? Do you think that Amazon was successful with their remote work environment? Yes or no? What do you think, Philip? Do you think they're successful with their remote work? Yes? Okay, thank you. What about you, Mylene? Do you think that Amazon are successful or unsuccessful? Are you there, Mylene? You think they're successful? Thank you. Okay, let's go on. What about you, Noella? Do you think that Amazon are successful or not successful? Are you there, Noella? Do you think that Amazon was successful with having virtual work teams or not? Can you hear me, Noella? You need to answer. Hi, Noella.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Yes,
Good afternoon. Can you
very
tell me,
much.
do you think that virtual work was successful for Amazon or not?
Yes, very much, because as of now, they are the #1 e-commerce platform in the globally, internationally.
Okay. Thank you. I'll share with you why they're successful. You are right. They're the world's leading e-commerce platform per capita based on the number of orders they receive daily, the number of customers who visit their platform per capita per day, and the amount of revenue they generate. Amazon is by far the world's most successful and powerful e-commerce platform. By comparison to Alibaba and all the others, Amazon is way ahead of Alibaba on an annual month-over-month basis, year-over-year basis. But this only became pattern after COVID-19. Before COVID-19, there was more of an equal playing field, but now the playing field has changed because of Amazon and Amazon's ability to meet the demands of the COVID-19 pandemic or epidemic, as it's called. All right, does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Let's look at Amazon and their successes. Thank you, Noella. Okay, let's look at Amazon's success. Amazon is successful because its business is an e-commerce business. Everything they sell is online. Now, the only people who have to come to work are the warehouse people who actually package the products. But Amazon even took one step further. They have artificial technology and robots that picks the stock from the storage area, the storage rack in their warehouse,
it puts it in a basket, and that basket travels down a conveyor belt to a packing station. Now, they only use human involvement at the packing station, but previously they needed warehouse assistants that ran around the warehouse picking up items. They cut that out because they transformed their warehouses into state-of-the-art robotically and artificial intelligence operated warehouses. So the involvement of humans is limited. And now they don't need so many people. So working from home for the other departments, the support departments, has proven very, very successful. And I'll share why shortly about Amazon. All right, so let's go back to our PowerPoint. Okay, here we go. Amazon is the largest e-commerce retailer in the world, started by Jeff Bezos, and he had a vision of creating the world's most powerful e-commerce platform. But before COVID-19, he never for a minute expected it to happen so quickly. It is known that when COVID-19 struck and people realized they couldn't go out, the number of online orders multiplied 25 times per capita per day. And what that means is on an average day, they were getting 25 more orders from people in the same region, 25% more orders, not 25 orders, 25% more orders a day than what they received before. Now, when Amazon used to get 500,000 orders a day and they multiplied by 25%, that means they were getting something like 3.5 to 4 million orders a day around their world in their international operation, hypothetically. So Amazon, ladies and gentlemen, Amazon's remote work teams are spread across various departments, including customer service, software development, sales, marketing, human resource, finance, and operations. Operations means the people that plan operations and give instructions. It does not involve the warehouse or the picking or the warehouse refilling department. It only affects basically the office people who are working in an office, pushing paper and managing the business. Customer service manages customers. They talk to customers. They involve customers. They engage customers. Amazon provides remote workers with the necessary tools and resources to stay connected and productive, including virtual training sessions. They provide them video conferencing tools, software, laptop, desktops, printers, desk and chair, collaboration software like Zoom or which other platform they use. They actually have software that monitors how productive the actual staff member is by counting how many transactions or how many tasks they carry out every day through the online collaboration software, Zoom. They have regular check-ins with managers and team members. So every day, managers check in with all their team and have a big meeting in one of the Zoom rooms to make sure that everybody's working and everybody's happy. It's not because you're a remote worker, the manager forgets you and talks to you once a month. At Amazon, the team leaders, the managers talk to their staff almost every day, if not twice a day. They want to keep engaged. Amazon has a significant number of remote work teams with thousands of employees working from home or remotely. Amazon's remote work is called Virtual Jobs Remote Work, and it offers a range of leading benefits, including flexibility, work-life balance, increased productivity, broader talent pool, and cost savings. Now, when you say increased productivity, it comes by allowing diversity, because Amazon in the US needs customer service that speak Chinese for their Chinese customers. They no longer need to have a Chinese speaking person in the US. They can have 10 Chinese customer service agents that work remotely from their home in China, less travel time, lower pay, and they can work different shifts so there's always a Chinese-speaking staff member round the clock. So this is part of flexibility. Increased productivity without having to travel to the office every day, without having to travel home every day, go out to lunch and come back. When you're working from home and all of this is at the reach of your hand, then of course you have more time to put towards your work and increase your own productivity and overall the company's productivity, as Amazon does through its work from home program. Okay, so remember guys, remote work, work from home, virtual work are all the same. You're able to engage more people and employ a broader talent pool, especially if you employ staff from the Philippines who may be good at service, staff from India who may be good at solving computer problems. All of this is important. Cost savings. Okay, cost savings. Amazon was able to reduce the need for additional office space and reduce its annual rental bill. And Amazon, till today, has not brought everybody back to the office. Amazon still has a remote workforce or work from home workforce or virtual workforce because Amazon has found it more productive and they were able to monitor and control their activities while they're working from home and control the cost. All right, so Amazon's remote work program, unlike other companies, has been successful. Many employees at Amazon reporting high job satisfaction and productivity rates. However, it's worth noting that not all roles at Amazon are eligible for remote work, and some teams may require occasional in-office work. Let me just go back to that. Here, when we talk about software development, even though they can work from home, but sometimes they need to test that software on their servers, so they may have to come back to the office once or twice a week. Human resources may have to come back to the office to do certain admin work or high-level work, like processing online applications and putting it into the company's HR system, or come to the office for meetings with other directors or VPs to decide human resource requirements. But if you look at the warehouse floor, warehouse managers, they cannot work online. They have to come to the warehouse every day. So remember, it depends on the company you're running and the type of business you're running. Does everybody know Telsa? Who knows Telsa here? Does everybody know Telsa? Has anybody heard of Telsa? Can you put your hand up? Okay, who can tell me? What does Telsa do? What does Telsa make? Who can tell me? Come on, guys, you need to be involved. Please don't sit there like monuments. Please talk to me. Who can tell me, what does Telsa do? What does Telsa manufacture? Come on, what does Telsa make? Lynn, Liet Om, do you know? What does Telsa make, Lynn? Talk to me, open your microphone. What does Telsa make? Unmute yourself. Hi, where are you from?
Yes, I am from Myanmar.
Have you ever heard of Telsa?
Sorry, no, sir.
Have you okay, it's okay. It's okay, you'll learn. Thank you very much. Telsa is a car maker. Telsa tried to make the first electric car and self-drive car in the world. All right, does everybody know who Telsa is now? Do you understand who I mean by Telsa? Can you wave your hands? Okay, good. So let me show you some information about Telsa. Unfortunately, Telsa did not have a good experience with remote work because Telsa were unable to get people to work remotely and still perform productively due to different reasons, which I'll show you shortly. Here we go. Let me share screen. Okay, so Telsa actually tried remote work, but found it to be a failure, and they stopped it. They stopped it after a number of years. Telsa Inc. initially allowed remote work, but in 2022, its CEO, Elon Musk, announced that remote work would no longer be permitted, citing concerns about productivity and company performance. What happened at Tulsa is people were no longer putting in the effort or the energy or generating enough results to justify them being able to work from home. Tulsa allowed remote work for some employees, particularly in software development, sales, and other roles that couldn't require physical presence. Employees could work from home or remotely with flexible hours and minimal supervision. Now, if you ask me, where did Tulsa go wrong? There should never have been flexible hours. There should never have been minimal supervision. It should have been everybody reports remote work from their regular working hours, no flexible working hours. You report at 8, you finish at 5. You report at 9, you finish at 6. And they had to have maximum supervision. They had to have their camera switched on all the time. They had to check in with their boss in the morning, in the afternoon before they go home. That is one of the biggest problems that Tulsa avoided because it wasn't doing it. Tulsa basically trusted their people, all right? It trusted their people, but the supervision was so minimal that the company lost money. So was it correct to trust them? No. Reasons for ending remote work. Elon Musk said that the first reason is productivity concerns. Musk believed that remote work led to decreased productivity and efficiency, and I can confirm that because that's the case with other companies as well. Communication challenges. People found it hard to communicate with their colleagues or customers because they didn't all have the right tools or voice over internet protocol, and it became inconvenient sometimes because they had families at home and didn't want to make a noise while their baby was asleep, so there was communication challenges. The next one is company culture. Elon Musk wanted to foster a strong company culture, which he believed was harder to achieve with remote workers. Unless you have a water cooler or a shower, as we call it, hot shower, or water cooler room or hot shower room in your online work environment where workers can go and de-stress and talk to their colleagues, to be able to control them and motivate each other for them to keep going, then it will fail. You need constant supervision. You cannot apply trust to everyone. Management has to supervise and check where everybody is on a regular basis every day. Management must ask them, what are you doing? How much longer do you need? What is your next task? You need to do that. Performance issues. Some teams were not meeting performance expectations, which Musk attributed to remote work. And that's true. Because if you say to somebody work remotely, sometimes their effort or contribution goes down because you're not there to check on them. Consequences of ending remote work for Elon Musk. Employees weren't happy. There was backlash, but as Elon Musk said, if you want to work for us, you have to work in the office. Otherwise, I'm sorry, consider yourself unemployed. Talent loss. Some employees left Tulsa due to the policy change, potentially impacting the company's ability to attract and retain talent. Back in that part of time when they started changing from remote work back to office work, some people left. Some people decided they wanted to stay remote work or become unemployed, which was up to them. Okay, so remember, all of this has an effect on the company, not just yourself. Next one is productivity impact. He stated that it's unclear whether ending remote work has positively impacted productivity, as some employees may have been more productive working remotely, but according to Tulsa's figures now, their sales are going up. They're doing better than they did when they were remote. Everybody understand that? Yes or no? All right, lessons learned. one-size-fits-all approach. Telsa's decision highlights the challenges of implementing a blanket policy for all employees as individual needs and preferences vary. And that's true. When you give work from home or digital work a privilege to employees, you need to select only the bare bone of employees that can really work from home without interacting with the people in the office every day, and some people that can be trusted. Understand that, everyone? Okay, number 2, communication and trust. Clear communication and trust are crucial for remote work success. Telsa's decision may indicate that a lack of trust in employees' ability to work effectively remotely. Okay, so Telsa didn't trust its employees based on the fact that they found that employees were not doing the right thing. So over time, Telsa lost trust. Flexibility and adaptability. Again, companies should consider flexible work arrangements and adapt to changing needs of the people who work for them. Otherwise, they may lose all their employees. All right, let's go on. Let's now talk about financial losses that can be caused by this digital work option or remote work option. Okay, profit losses due to remote work teams, reduced productivity. A study for Stanford University found that remote work can lead to a 13% decrease. Well, let me tell you, for some companies that I know, remote work led to more than a 20% decrease in productivity. 13% is very generous and very low. It was more like 20 to 25%. Communication breakdowns, poor communication, people not being able to communicate immediately when they need each other, security breaches. I'll give you an example. During 2013, Yahoo had a data breach and they had to pay the US government $350 million. And this was during working digitally, working remotely, working online. This was the cause. All right. Target is a department store in the United States and Australia. In 2013, they were fined $290 million for data breach, again, for having the data not where it should be and protected as it should be, because a member of the team working from home decided to access the data from an unsecure location or take the data in a hard drive home, which left the data at vulnerability. Data was stolen, and Yahoo or Target had to pay compensation for leaked information, personal data that belonged to their customers. Lack of accountability, inefficient use of resources, poor time management, and lack of goal achievement can all lead to financial losses very quickly if you have remote work teams. Technology costs. Implementing and maintaining remote work technology can be costly. You have to provide subscriptions to Zoom or other platforms. You have to have the right machines, computers, laptops with the latest hardware drivers and software drivers and speeds to be able to allow your staff to work and join meetings online. And you need to have the right IT support that can support everyone, even though they're not physically in the office. Okay. The other financial loss is the cost of having to provide additional training to staff about how to work remotely, the turnover of staff who don't want to work remotely or don't want to come back to the office, the intellectual property loss, your copyright, because you take a product home or you allow other people at home to read about your product, etc. It can cause a liability and create an intellectual property loss to the company. Cybersecurity risks. Again, remote work increases the risk of hackers and cybersecurity breaches, and this is a very important one to remember. Okay, and the last but not least is compliance issues. Remote work can lead to a compliance issue such as data privacy violations, which can result in financial losses due to fines and penalties. Remember what we said here? Poor time management, lack of accountability, implementing and maintaining remote technology. Remote work may require additional training, and more importantly, the one about personal data protection and your ability to retain records. Okay, so let's talk about financial losses that companies endured around the world during COVID-19. IBM, $1 billion loss. IBM's remote work program, implemented in 1970, was initially successful, but eventually led to a reported $1 billion in losses due to decreased productivity and innovation. Staff weren't motivated. They worked from home, they became bored, they weren't being productive, they lost their drive to be successful. Another one, Yahoo. Yahoo's $100 million loss. Yahoo's remote work policy, introduced in 2009, was meant to save $100 million in costs. However, it ultimately led to a loss of the same amount due to decreased collaboration and innovation. Another one, Dell. Dell's $14 million loss. Dell's remote work program, launched in 2009, aimed to save $14 million in real estate. However, the company eventually suffered a loss of the same amount due to decreased productivity and employee disengagement. Number 4, HP's $2 billion loss. HP Hewlett-Packard remote work program, introduced in 2000s, led to a reported $2 billion loss due to decreased collaboration, innovation, and employee satisfaction. Last but not least, Best Buy, or Best Buys, which is an American retailer or an international retailer in some countries. They have $100 million loss, okay, and they say that this was due to decreased productivity and employees became disengaged and were no longer understanding and focused on what was happening in their work environment. These examples illustrate the potential financial losses that can occur when remote work practices are not implemented properly, they're not managed properly, and they're not overseen properly with the right technology. However, if remote work can be implemented with all the safeguards in place, it could be profitable, depending if you have the correct safeguards. Does everybody understand that? Can you wave your hands, please? Thank you. All right, let's go on. It is essential to note that such financial losses can only be mitigated with proper management, communication, and technology implementation. So what we're saying about implementing or managing online protocols or managing a remote digital workspace, you need to basically consider some basic elements. Let's go through those one by one before we go on to the next part of the lesson. What do you think are important steps in running a remote work team environment? You can give me ideas. Come on. If you're going to have a remote work team, what are the important things that you need to take note of? Let's go. Who wants to go first? Let's go. John Pingold, would you like to suggest the first one? What are some of the important things that you need to take note of or have in place before you implement a remote work team?
For me, I think it's not applicable, although it's not applicable in my business. I'm into a restaurant business, no? But
Right, okay.
I think I could suggest for some people out there, number one, they could think of their liability to the government when it comes to the safety and what you call this. Let me
All right, just try to explain to me, what are you referring to? What do I call what? I know the restaurant business people have to be on site, chefs, managers, waiters. Well, what government liability are you
there's
talking about? I can't hear you, John. John. You mean that what is the government liability you're talking about? Sorry, John, I can't hear you. Maybe you can come back when your microphone is working. All right, let's talk to Mylene. Mylene, go ahead.
Hello, sir. Maybe, sir, acknowledgement effort.
So what are some of the things that a company should be aware of before going down this digital work environment? What things you suggest they should be aware of? Or what should they do?
Maybe acknowledge effort, sir. The acknowledge effort, the hard work should always be recognized and appreciated. Reward your most hardworking employees and encourage others for the same kind of achievements.
Okay, all right, fine. That's a good idea. I note that, but whether that can be affected in every business is something we need to look at, but it's definitely something that would be considered. Thank you, Mylene. Thank you so much. Okay, let's talk to Lourdes. Hi, Lourdes. What did you write down? Tell me, what do you think are fundamental steps that a company should take? Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. At least the company must ensure that all the employees has good internet connection.
Right.
That's one.
And
yes.
Right. Because what is the shortfall? If your staff don't have that, they can't work online. Go on.
Yes,
What else?
that's true.
What else?
And employees must be trusted. Otherwise, you will lose the company will lose some what do you call this? Instead of the employees, instead of working, they will be like lazy at home.
Okay, so basically the company would lose productivity. Sales would drop down, revenue would drop down, productivity would drop. Thank you. Very good. Thank you, Lourdes. Okay, anybody else want to say something? Let's talk to some of the people who haven't put their hand up. Mint too. Hi, Mint. Have you ever worked from home? Hello, Mint. Say hello to me. Come on, open your microphone.
Hello, sir.
Have you ever done work digitally or remotely from home?
Yes, I have a little bit experience of work from home.
All right. Okay.
My opinion.
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you. My opinion. You have to sometimes working at your home make you so comfortable that let's focus on your job.
Okay, so what you're saying is what you're saying is that digital work or digital workspace could mean that you lose motivation, you're bored, you have no motivation or anyone to stimulate the motivation so you can be focused. So when you lose focus, your productivity goes down, your performance is affected. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So what you guys have said so far is good. Let's just hear the others. Okay, Alpha May, go ahead. Are you there, Alpha May? Are you there, Alpha May?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me, what is important for a company to do before they introduce this digital workspace or online workspace? What do you suggest?
My suggestion must be the things must be considered must be the culture and communication, and for the employer, and also the technology and infrastructure to provide necessary equipment and software.
Good, excellent. Okay.
And also the productivity and management also. To set performance expectations and goals for the employee. And
Very good.
the same thing for the employee is the work-life balance.
Okay.
To
All right. Is
establish
there
the
any?
boundaries between work and personal life.
Okay, good. Excellent. Thank you very much. Good work. Good effort. Thank you. Okay, let's go on. So basically, most of the things have been mentioned. Does anyone want to add? Okay, I've got a young lady here by the name of Samsung, SMA127F. Ma'am, could you rename yourself? Because if you don't put your name, you won't get a certificate. You need to put your name. Could my co-host let Miss Samsung rename herself, please, Govind? Are you there, ma'am? Would you like to talk to me? Hello? Are you there, ma'am? Yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes.
Hello. Sorry, it's Roslyn here.
I'm sorry?
My name is Roslyn.
Yes, go ahead, Roslyn. How can I help you? Tell me.
Okay. No, I took note of 2 points. Two points here.
Yes, go ahead.
First one is the availability of the resources to use, such as the computers and the laptops. They must be available in order to use that, in order to do remote work. And the second one is, in order to set up an employee, the employee must be knowledgeable about the products and services of the company. So those are the 2 points I wanted to share.
No, that's fine, Roslyn. You're on the right track. Thank you. So Roslyn is touching on making sure that the staff, before they go on remote work, they are actually product trained or product knowledgeable. And that comes back to what we said. You cannot establish remote work unless all your staff have been trained, understand their job description, understand their product, and have the level of competence to be able to work alone. All of this is critical in any digital work environment. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Rose. Very much, Roslyn. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember, managing a remote work environment comes over many critical areas. Let's start from the beginning. To manage a critical or a digital work environment, first, you must have people who understand your product, your vision, your mission, your objectives. You must make sure that these people understand what it means to work online, what the rules are for working online, that they have the proper equipment and internet connection, and what are the penalties if they're not online when they should be, and how are they supposed to serve customers if they're no longer at the office but online. What if customers refuse to see them online and want to see them physically? All of these questions you must ask yourself, depending on the type of business that you're running. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Yes or no? Good, excellent. You have a question, Noella? Okay, go ahead. Marjurika, would you like to ask a question? Hello, Marjurika, would you like to ask a question? Jurika Regala, would you like to ask a question? Go ahead. Are you there? Hello. I think she's on the phone to someone else. Okay. Are you there, Jurika? Go ahead. Jurika? Can you unmute your microphone, Jurika? Yes, go ahead. I can't hear you. Could you speak up? I can't hear you. Sorry, Jurika, I can't hear you. Could you speak up? There's something wrong with your microphone. I'll come back to you later. All right. So what we've covered so far is we covered the importance that your staff should be trained and should be product knowledgeable. So they should be product centric. They should be process centric or procedure centric. Or you could say they should be SOP centric. What do I mean by centric? They should know it, be able to use it, and have proven track record at it. Do you understand that, everyone? they need to put themselves in the shoes of who would usually use these rules or SOPs. That is the first critical element before you put digital work or remote work in any group of people. You have to make sure they understand the product and your business and the financial requirements if we do this online. So how do you do that? It's by making sure they are trained, they understand the company's vision, mission, and objectives. Only then are they ready to go and work through a virtual work environment, number one. Number two, they have to be trained on how to do the work. They have to be trained categorically on how to do the work. Does everybody understand this so far? So once you've got the right person who knows your product or service, you've trained them about how to work online and what the requirements are. What is the next thing you must make sure of? Who can tell me? You have to make sure they have the right tools to use, whether it's laptop, desktop, or voice over internet protocol. Okay? All of these things are things that you should look at and you should be aware of before you make a decision, because all of these things could impact the cost. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Okay. All right. So we've looked at training. We've looked at understanding. We've looked at the person coming from another job. Okay, we've looked at all that. So now, let me ask you, where do you think that a business should be prudent in order not to lose money during its online performance, or not to lose money during its digital workspace? All right, so we know we're giving our staff remote workspace. Tell me, what is important to safeguard, the first safeguard company must put in place to make sure that they don't lose their money because they have one person working remote? You can tell me. What is one important thing they have to be careful of? You have to make sure that this person attends work every day and they are busy doing work every day. Critical. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Okay. Can anybody give me an example of a company that you know that still has this remote work policy in place? Does anybody work for a company with remote work still? Okay, let's talk to Katrina. Hi, Katrina. Go ahead. Are you there, Katrina? Hi, Katrina. Can you unmute your microphone, ma'am? Yeah, go ahead. Unmute your microphone. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Yes, some of the BPOs companies, especially those who are working as a back office, they're still doing some of the remote work. They're still
Right.
in a office. Yeah, to ensure that they're doing their job. Of course, they have their login Avaya to monitor, so that the management can monitor that they're working on that day.
Very good. Excellent. Very good. Excellent. Have you ever worked remotely, Katrina?
No, because the nature of my work is need to be in the field.
Okay, excellent. All right. But what you've said is very good. Yeah, remote work. Excellent. Would anybody like to add any more to that? Would anybody like to add? Okay, I've got another hand gone up. Mary Ann or Matteo, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What can you add, please? Go ahead.
Yeah, employees should be trusted. Because I am currently working as an onliner, work from home. I'm a tutor based, the company is based in China. So I don't have any equipment, but they trusted me for my time, because we need to log in on time, or 5 minutes before my work, so I have to log in. So that's a company should have.
And do they monitor you every day? Do they check?
Yeah, they monitor me also because my time is depend on how I can open my slot. So if I open my slot on this time, I must log in 5 minutes before my schedule.
Are you enjoying working online?
I'm enjoying it, yeah, because
Right,
my
good on you.
time is based on me. I can choose my time anytime. I can open my slot.
Okay, so basically you said companies should trust their employees, but for companies to trust their employees, the employees must trust their employer, and it's a two-way street. And sometimes companies, especially with COVID-19, they didn't have a chance to actually test trust. Trust is something that an employer builds over time in employees. And if you've got a business to run, sometimes you need to make quick decisions. And the common phenomena is that every boss assumes that all their employees are honest. And it's a common mistake. But come on, if you are the CEO to Singapore Airlines with 40,000 employees, he has to work on the assumption that all his staff are honest until proven otherwise. You understand that, Marianne? Okay, good. Does anybody else have any suggestions about remote working? Anybody else? All right, so let's go back and summarize some of the important things that we've learned about remote work. One moment, please. So if we look at remote work, just one moment. Just one moment, please. If we look at remote work, let's look at Amazon first. Remote provides remote workers with the necessary tools, resources to stay connected. So if you want your people to work, you need to teach them how to use remote meeting or remote software for them to actually work online. You have to show them how to use conference tools, virtual training session tools, collaboration software that brings them together like Zoom, etc. You have to regularly check in on them to make sure they're there and they're happy in that environment. So let's go back here and talk about that. The most important thing is you must set clear goals and expectations. You must give each employee a clear list of what they're supposed to do and their responsibilities. And you're supposed to make sure that they have a platform where they can meet every day online and work, whether it's Slack, Trello, Asana, Zoom, or whatever the platform is. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Do you understand this, Mary Ann or Matteo? Yes or no? You must foster a communication policy that allows people to communicate, whether you use weekly meetings or you have a room in the channel or in your Zoom platform where people can communicate, which is what I've just told you earlier. You must emphasize work-life balance and assure the employee that you respect their private time, providing they respect your working hours. You must offer them training before they work from home or work digitally online, and you must conduct regular meetings with them so they still feel involved and engaged. And these are some of the critical reasons why Yahoo has been successful. Yahoo practices all these elements, and they're part of the Yahoo philosophy. And Yahoo is one of the very few companies in the world that still allows work from home or virtual workspace. Google used to allow it, but Google recently actually told most of its executives to come back. And if they didn't, they would lose their job. Apple did the same. Tim Cook told most of the executives at Apple to return to the office or become unemployed. One particular person at Apple, who was, I think, responsible for research and development, said that there was no need for him to be in the office and Apple said, we no longer need you to work for us. Okay, and he was a very highly paid, very senior member of management at Apple Inc. But because Apple had to foster a trust or foster respect, if they said to everyone else, you come back to work or you lose your job, just because one person is an executive vice president and he's very highly ranked, he cannot be seen to go against company policy. So what did Apple do? They terminated that person. All right? Tulsa recently did the same to a lot of its managers who argued about coming back to work. Does everybody follow that? Yes or no? A digital work environment, a remote work environment can only be implemented if you have the mechanisms and tools to police it and control it. Everybody understand that? Yes or no? You know, the other day I was looking on the internet. I'm in Kyrgyzstan now. I'm in Bishkek, and I was looking on the internet to find something that I wanted to buy here in Kyrgyzstan. And I couldn't find the product by the name that I had put in. Then I went to Google Translate and translated it from English to another word. I very quickly found it. Now, let me tell you what happened. I went to this store to buy it. No one would speak English. No one. When I asked to speak English, she gave me a link where I joined virtually from my phone, and one of their customer service representatives spoke to me on camera and spoke English. Now, I asked, why isn't this person here? And the company told me that the people who answered my call are not employees of the company. They outsource the translation or service to a third party in the Philippines because these people are multilingual, okay? Whereby their staff here in Kyrgyzstan barely speak English. Now, when you say remote work, this company is basically tasking some of the duties that they can to people overseas via remote work, but not because they don't want to give it to their local staff. It's because here in Kyrgyzstan, they can't find enough English speakers. So they have to look offshore for people who can do the job. And instead of flying them to Kyrgyzstan and paying for housing, etc., they let them stay in their own country, their own home. They provide them all the equipment they need and they pay for the internet, but they work virtually from home. Do you understand that, everyone? Very simple example of a Kyrgyzstan supermarket chain. Has anybody here been to Kyrgyzstan? Put your hand up. Is there anybody here from Kyrgyzstan? Come on, say hello to me. Is there anybody here from Central Asia? No one today. So sad. Okay. Yeah, we've got one person. Hi, Sama. Are you from Kyrgyzstan, Sama?
Yes, I live here.
All right. Nice to see you, Sama. Maybe you can drop by and say hello while I'm in Bishkek. What part of Kyrgyzstan are you in? Where in Kyrgyzstan are you? Are you in Bishkek?
Yes, I'm in Bishkek city now.
All right. Great. Great. Excellent. Welcome. You have a beautiful country and welcome to BizTalk today. Have you learned what I mean about managing a remote network today or remote work team? Have I helped you today?
Yes.
Свой пенсил подальше убери, пожалуйста.
I'm sorry, Sama?
Что-то шлюшка моя.
Sorry, here those people are going.
All right. Okay. Did you understand today's lesson?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon, hopefully. Okay. I'm sorry?
Потому что Айтур...
Nothing.
Это надоел. Айтур плохо.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Sama. Can you unmute your microphone again? Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, here is people. They're speaking. It's not me.
That's okay. All right. Take care. I'll see you soon. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay. Does anybody else want to ask me any questions about what the implementation of remote work can do for your business? Does anybody want any advice on how to implement remote work? Okay, there is different tools that you can manage remote work. You can use things like Zoho has a remote work tool. People like Zoom have a remote work tool. The tool from Zoom is a bit more powerful than Zoho. You can use Microsoft Teams. They're also very powerful. But for anybody who wants to have a remote work environment where your people can use their other tools or their other computer screens and share screens and actually be seen using the application, Zoom would be one of the better ones. Otherwise, Microsoft Team. But Zoho, which is an American company, which has a large presence in India, also has an online working environment in the Zoho platform as well. All right. Okay. So it depends on what sort of platform you're after and how much you're prepared to spend. Zoho is a bit cheaper than Zoom, but it doesn't have all the benefits of Zoom. Microsoft Teams would be one of the most expensive, and also some of them don't like using it because they say it's too complicated. They prefer Zoom. For me, I use all three, and I find all three are good, but I find Zoom is the most appropriate when I'm running large trading sessions like this. Okay? Does everybody understand that? Now, if you are looking at taking your business to a remote work environment or some of your business, and you need help in setting KPIs for them or even deciding on software, I'm here to help you. Just drop me a message through WhatsApp, not through Telegram. Telegram is only for class invitations. Drop me a message through WhatsApp. Tell me that you attended my BizTalk session and let me know what you need. I'd be happy to advise you or help you. Are you all happy with that? Yes or no? Great, excellent. Does anybody else have any questions about anything I've said today about virtual work environments? Yes, Miriam, do you have a question, Miriam? Go ahead, Miriam. Hello. Are you there, Miriam? Are you there, Miriam? Miss Malakanova, are you there? Can you unmute your microphone, Miss Malakanova? Your microphone is muted. Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me well?
Yes, go ahead. How can I help you?
Hello,
Hi.
Mr. Whaler. I just wanted to say welcome to Kyrgyzstan. Earlier, I think Samad was speaking to you. So I'm from Kyrgyzstan. So basically, I wanted to come and visit you in the office. I heard that you're in Bishkek. So yeah, I basically also work for US, but I stay in Kyrgyzstan. So I'm outsourced. So I have also experience working online, which is actually I like. But before I worked in Dubai more than 8 years. So currently I'm in project management, and I have a question: how can I implement for my team, like, working on KPIs? Because for me, it's quite difficult to implement something for them. So I would like
Let me ask
to
you,
manage
Miriam,
their
how many,
KPI.
all right, let me ask you a question. How many team members do you have that work virtually?
All right, so virtually I have around, in my department, around 5 of them.
All right, and can I ask you, what platform do they use?
We use Slack platform. If we do the meetings, we use Google Meet, sometimes Zoom. And
Okay, all right.
yeah.
Okay, well,
yeah.
let me just tell you, the platforms you're using are wrong. I'm being honest with you. You need to use one platform and use the same platform all the time. So what you can do, do you have Microsoft Teams? Do you use Microsoft software in your office? Miriam, do you have Microsoft on all your computers? Okay, can you open your microphone so I can talk to you, Miriam? It's okay. Unmute your microphone, please.
Thank you. So it was muted.
If you have Microsoft, I suggest the easiest solution is check that everybody, because if you have Microsoft Office, usually it comes with Microsoft Teams. If you can, if you tell me that everybody has Microsoft Teams, then what you need to do is you need to actually make sure that they clock into Microsoft Teams every morning. They're there till they clock out, okay? Now, as far as productivity is concerned, I can help you and give you some tools that you can actually use with Microsoft Teams that will measure productivity, all right? For example, how many calls they make, how many transactions they process. Is that the sort of productivity you want to measure?
Actually, that is for different department. What you're talking right now, that's really good and applicable for CSR department. So that is actually working for my different department. But for me, I accept the projects. So in the project, we do calls to the clients if they have any issues.
What
with
do?
their
You
systems.
call you communicate with clients. You make outgoing calls. Is that right? Well,
Yes,
exactly the
exactly.
same. There is productivity software like Zoho, and Zoho offers an online meeting platform, and you can subscribe to Zoho. You want to write it down, Zoho, Z-O-H-O. You can visit them at www.zoho.com and look at, you can get help and ask them to use the Zoho platform, which includes productivity and online work capabilities. And they do have that. And the good thing about the Zoho platform is it can be used from a computer laptop, a mobile phone, or a handheld device. So everything they do during their interaction in Zoho can be tracked through the Zoho CRM base. So this is what happens. They clock in the morning, Zoho will clock them in. Then they open the Zoho CRM, which is part of the Zoho package. And in Zoho CRM, you can actually upload the customers that they have to call. And as they actually call that customer, they would go into the CRM and they would key in what time they called, what they said in the conversation, and they would submit it. And what this does is it gives you live minute-to-minute information. Now, is it hard to implement? No, because Zoho's platform is so easy, Miriam. If I sat with you for 5 minutes, you can actually do it whatever you like. You can put the columns you like, the information you like. You can actually color code it the way you want. You can give every one of your staff a different color code. So every time they key something into the system, it's under their ID or their color code. And you can actually customize this platform from a work online environment and a productivity measurement tool through their CRM. It takes about half an hour. All right. And the good thing about the Zoho platform is it has CRM for productivity. They have reporting tools for the CRM that can generate reports at the end of every day. And they have an online connectivity platform. So once the staff member logs into Zoho, he's connected to CRM, he's connected to email, he's connected to everything. And Zoho can also allow them to make voice over internet protocol calls. It has that function in one of its packages now. All right. So what you need for your team, it's only 5 people, and Zoho is very reasonably priced. It'll probably cost your company like $20 or $30 a month, depending on how many people that use it. But this is a package that brings everything together. Do you know what I'm trying to say, Miriam? You don't have to use 4 or 5 different packages. Now, if you want to use Microsoft Teams and you just want an add-on where the staff have to go and report in it, it's not going to be accurate. But with Zoho, if you use their CRM, which is connected to their online work platform, you get live by the minute interaction. Do you understand what I mean? So for example,
Yes, I do understand.
10 o'clock in the morning, you can see how many calls Wally's made. You can look at Joe and you can see Joe is spending 21 minutes on the phone and he's only called 3 people. Did he close a sale? No. So you can report everything. The call, the time, the discussion, what was discussed, what was the outcome, and why. All of this is something that the platform will ask them to key in. And it's not like they have a choice. They have to complete every field. Otherwise, it won't record their interaction. So they have to report the correct data. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. Mhm.
So
Okay.
Miriam, you have my contact number. Do you have my WhatsApp number from previous lessons or not?
No, I do not have, but
Okay, right. So
I'm in
then do
contact
me
with my consultant only.
No, it's okay. You can contact me directly. Seeing I'm the I'm the trainer and lecturer. Mr. Govind, are you here, Mr. Govind? My co-host, my boss, Mr. Govind, are you here, sir? Where are you, Govind?
I'm here.
Yeah, Govind, can you put my WhatsApp number in the chat box for all participants? But when you do message me, ladies and gentlemen, please say I attended BizTalk 103 and could you help me with this? Please do not send the message by Telegram, only by WhatsApp. Telegram is only for official class links and class notifications. Any questions about BizTalk must come through WhatsApp. Does everybody understand that? And Miriam, when you drop me a line, just tell me in 3 bullet points what's the product they sell, how many calls they're supposed to make a day, and whether most of their clients are local or international. And I'll be able to give you the details that you need. All right, mate?
Sure. Thank you very much.
But your
Appreciate.
problem, Miriam, can be solved in half an hour. Half an hour with the right software. You go home for one night. You can customize it all. And the next morning, they can be using it. All right? You might need to train them for half an hour. But let me tell you, Zoho is so simple that, you know, a 12-year-old kid could run it. Okay? But a 12-year-old kid wouldn't know what to use it for. But that's how simple it is. And it's all drop and drag and drop. Do you know what drag and drop means, Miriam?
Yeah,
So,
sure.
for example,
Copy paste.
if Joe is in team A, but Joe is not performing, you can simply call Joe and say, Joe, I'm moving you to team B. You pick him up and drop him in team B. All the data for Joe goes with Joe to team B, right?
Oh, I
So
see. Okay.
it's such a simple thing for you to use, and you can manage them more effectively. You can actually also tell them in their basket which clients they look after. You can drop the clients in their basket and say, you need to call these 5 clients in the next 30 minutes. That's how simple the integration is. All right?
All right. Thank you.
Does that help you, Miriam?
Yes, a lot actually, because we
Drop
were
me a
struggling.
message, and if I can help you, I will. I'll even give you some contacts at Zoho to contact. All right?
Sure, I'll do that. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
ma'am.
Really appreciate.
Take care. Does anybody else have any questions today about our lesson that I can answer? I would love to talk to all of you, please. Okay, so today we've learned about managing remote work. Managing remote work. Remote work can either make or break your business. Remember, remote work can reduce the cost of office rental, but by reducing that, it may reduce productivity because people feel lonely. They don't have people to motivate them. They don't have people to interact with. All of these can have negative effects on your business. So I warn you, before you go back to remote work or allow your staff to go back to remote work, measure every single factor correctly. Make sure they all have the right equipment. Make sure you have the right platform like Miriam to manage those staff. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Yeah? Guys, also, if you have a subject that you want to hear Wally talk about related to business or managing business and business functions in BizTalk next week, can you drop me a WhatsApp message today? Say, Wally, would you cover the subject like sales in Russia or whatever you think is a subject you want to learn about, or dealing with government departments for approval of government projects, or whatever you think is a subject that I can actually give you direction on how to handle, providing it's business or marketing related or anything to do with e-commerce platforms, let me know and I would be happy to cover that subject for you. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? All right. I look forward to seeing all 219 people here again next week at BizTalk 104. I think today we lost about 40 people because of the subject, but that's okay. I think all of you were interested in this subject. Was everybody interested in this topic today? Can you wave your hands if you're interested in this topic? Thank you. I look forward to seeing you all at BizTalk 104 in the very near future. I do remind you that we're running Motivation Madness with my boss and my guru, Mr. Benson Ma, on Monday. It should be another exciting edition of Motivation Madness where he's going to throw fire and make you hungry that you want to eat it and become rich again. All his motivation talks are provocative, but one thing that happens is the next morning the students feel so much more motivated, whether it's in their daily work or their daily lives. You need motivation, so do I. And as I say at the end of every BizTalk, please go to social media, give me the thumbs up. Wally, I enjoyed today's BizTalk. Please, next week, talk about this. Wally, I love your BizTalk. Wally, I learned from your BizTalk. Write whatever you like. Please show me that you really care about BizTalk, all right? I hope that today's session was helpful. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to interact with all of you because of the topic, but I promise you next week there'll be a topic where I'll get to talk to all of you like I usually do. Okay, any questions, anyone? Ninmo, do you have any questions? Ninmo? Hi, how are you today? Do you have any questions, young lady? Open your microphone. Hi, how are you?
Good afternoon,
Hi.
sir.
Do you have any
Hello.
questions?
I have no idea, sir. Thank you very much.
Did you enjoy today's lesson? Did you learn anything from it?
Yes, sir.
Good, excellent. Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself and my co-host, Mr. Govind, thank you all for joining us for BizTalk 103. We look forward to seeing you at the next BizTalk. Thank you, Mr. Govind. Thank you, everyone. Good night and God bless you all. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Good night. God bless you all. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you, Lizelle. Thank you, Yunam. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Nanfu. Thank you, Nui. Thank you, Filipina. Thank you, Lizelle. Thank you, Lourdes. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you, Brighton. Thank you, Lynette. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. It's been a pleasure having you. Goodbye and